Hello, once again welcome to the lecture on PA216. So this is the second lecture about information technology for um, political science or for the society. In general, we're using the term information systems from the previous lecture on discussion about computer support to the organization. So this is a continuation as reviewed early in the previous video. We defined information system as a set of interrelated components that that collect, manipulate, and disseminate data and information and provide feedback to meet an objective. So the information system feedback can help organizations achieve their goals and increase revenues and reduce costs. From our previous video, we've learned that the information system support are different depending on the different levels of management. For each levels of management, we also identify the various support such as management support and operation support of the information systems. In this video, we will look into the relationship between information systems and organization and on examples of different information systems at various levels on a different perspective. So here to focus on the definition about an organization here is we look at organization as a group of people that is structured and managed to meet its mission or set of group goals. So on the previous videos, when we see levels of management, we are actually referring to the structure of people within the organization. We also know that an organization constantly uses money, people, materials, machines, and other equipment, data, information, and decisions, and other related concepts and practices of the organization. So here we will look at on the other perspective. Our previous lecture is about support of the organization on the operation and support of the information system, I mean, to the management level. But here we will look at information system in a different perspective. We look at the support of information system at the personal level, group level, and enterprise level. Where personal level will be possibly uh, personal support of the ICT as an individual. Group IS is about information system support for a group of people, not necessarily a division within the organization, but a group of people working on the same task or related tasks. An enterprise information system, these are as information systems that support the entire organization or uh, cross-functional information systems within the org. So we provide here examples of personal information system. First, we have personal productivity software or decision support system. A very classic example of a personal IS is your Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel or related word processing or spreadsheet applications. That personal. That means it's basically installed in your computer and in general you will be the one accessing those files. Next level is the group support information system. Example of this one is email, instant messaging, project management software. The purpose of this software is to manage a set of people. So for example, in an instant messaging, it would be unpractical for you to have an instant messaging services without the other party. So at least you have a group or at least one person connected to you. Why we say project management? Because people are also involved or group of people are involved on this aspect. So we identify the support of information system to this group. Lastly, we have enterprise information system. An example is transaction processing system, enterprise systems, and inter-organizational systems. So in case of IIT, for instance, we have ESMS, which is supporting the entire, partly the organization. It's not focused on one department, but focused on cross-functional processes within the organization. A payroll system, for instance, can be classified under enterprise as long as the target is to support the entire organization rather than one function of the department or one function of a division in the organization. So some benefits has been mentioned here in the example. For instance, we will have for personal information system, the normal benefit of the software is improved productivity. No? Kay pamapadali ang task when we use software for our personal functions. Second is group IS increased collaboration. So the purpose of having a group information system to support a group of people is easier collaboration. And lastly, we have standardization and ability to monitor work. That's the purpose of enterprise information system. Um, we are looking at enterprise information systems as somewhat form of cross-functional types of information systems. So when two departments, for instance, or two divisions of an organization will be working on different files but share the same common information, they have to define the standard or some guidelines on how to use the information that they are accessing. That's why we are here. The purpose of the enterprise is standardization and the ability to monitor which part am I doing and which part has been sent to the other party. So the last part, we have organizational complements. So organizational complements here is defined as what are the necessary items so that personal or group or enterprise system will work on the organization. So we have organizational complements are including well-trained workers, better teamwork, redesigned processes, and new decision rights. So when we look at organizational complements, is what is the complement or necessary items in the organization to be able to gain the benefits defined by one information system. So if we look at, for instance, the personal information system, the question there is, does not bring complements with it. Partial benefits can be achieved without all complements being in place. So that means if you are using a personal information system, we don't define the necessary item or complements to be able to gain the benefits of a personal IS. Here, it's a minimal items or complements that will be used for the individual. It's also expected since it's only supporting at the personal level. The second here is at least some complements must be in place when IS goes live. So meaning in a group information system, at least not we will have one complements identified so that the group IS or you can gain the benefits defined by the group IS. The second item here is allows users to implement and modify complements over time. No? So naa siya din sa increased collaboration. So it might be at least some complements. If you look at the group IS, it might be well-trained workers or better teamwork. So it might be necessary for a group IS to be able to gain the benefits expected for an IS. So that means some complements, not also all. For the enterprise information system, if you want to implement an enterprise information systems and you want to gain the benefit out of it, you have the full complements must be in place when IS goes live. When I say goes live, when we implement or when we deploy a certain information systems to the organization. So it's saying these full complements, that means all of the complements included in organizational complements stated in the first column must be implemented. That means if you want to implement an enterprise IS, you need to have well-trained workers, meaning your workers are capable or has the capability to use the information system to be implemented. Second is better teamwork. It's because in an enterprise information system, majority of the information is shared or can be accessed by the different functional unit of the organization. Here, teamwork is needed. That's why it's part also of defining benefits of enterprise is the standardization aspects because there is a better teamwork between different functional areas. The third is redesign process. So if you implement IS, you need to redesign processes. If you are coming from the manual system going to the digital type of system, that means you need to redesign the information system so that you can increase the benefit provided by the information system. It's not always good to have a manual as basis for your implementation of the digital process. Sometimes you need to rethink of a better process and ignoring the manual types of the manual practice that we are doing. We can have an exercise for this one, how we can modify the existing process of the organization so that we can benefit more of the enterprise information that we will be implementing. So I think this will be a better, I think I can give an exercise for this for us to practice. Lastly, we recognize that in the management level, so since you are on the management of the info ICT, we emphasize here the role of manager in each of these type of information systems. You might be confused when I say types of information systems in the previous lecture because we also call types of information system when we mention about the different support of information systems at different levels of management. Here, we also consider personal, group, and enterprise as a type of information systems at different perspective. So here, it can be easily differentiate because here we are looking at the organization at a personal, at the human resource level. The other one is we're looking at the technical aspects of the information system. That's why we're looking at support at the operation and support at the management level. But here we're looking at the people or HR part of the organization. So we now can classify that an IS can create personal, group, or enterprise. So let's go back to the manager's role. The manager's role here is ensure that employees understand and connect to the change, encourage use and challenge workers to find new uses. You know? So that means if you will be given, for instance, an Excel worksheet or spreadsheet when the organization requires you to use spreadsheet rather than manual, one person and the role of the manager to be able to use efficiently or more productivity on personal IS. Meaning you need to ensure that your employee actually understand the purpose why they need to adopt that particular IS or productivity software. Second, encourage use. That means, of course, why should we implement a system if it will not be used by the respective user? And lastly, challenge workers to find new uses. This is a very good um, illustration, that indicator also that if your employee or your staff might be are very good staff because they can always find new uses of these systems or tools that you are given you shared to them. Well, let's move on to the group IS. The manager's role here is demonstrate how technology can be used. So it's important that if as a manager, you will also share to them how to use, especially when you are using a group IS. Example, in using Zoom, for instance, you need to demonstrate the group to be able for them to appreciate and increase collaboration between your activities. Second is set norms for participation. That's why when we do online meetings, for instance, majority of the companies will define the somehow rules and guidelines on using a particular collaborative tool to avoid messy activities and not implementing some aspects that would limit the productivity of the group. No, although we provide collaboration here, but somehow employees are already aware not to share example personal issues on the group collaboration software. So it's important for managers to remind the participants in a group IS that they must be aware on what to share and what not to share within the group. Lastly is enterprise. Identify, put, identify and put into place the full set of organizational complements prior to adoption. So before implementing an information system, a managers might or supervisor might check the different organizational complements needed if you need to implement an enterprise IS, because it's necessary sometimes to be able to gain to maximize the benefits provided by the enterprise IS. And lastly, intervene forcefully and continually to ensure adoption. This is very common for public organizations since you are in public. And I believe sometimes we need something like a life force to be able to implement a certain change to the organization. So imagine you are encouraged to intervene forcefully to be able to gain the benefits defined by the enterprise IS as a manager.